joined by Philip Bloom today. Would you tell us what camera you have with you?
Hi, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
This is the Sony A7 III,
Yeah,
which is the third in the line of the A7s. Of course, we have the other ones, the Rs and the Ss. And this has gone mental. The people have gone crazy for this. I haven't really used it that much yet. I've taken some stills and a little bit of video, but it's their entry-level full-frame mirrorless camera for £2,000. And prior to that, I mean, the A7 Mark II, which is about 3 years ago, feels really antiquated compared to this. It just feels like 3 generations more. The video is gorgeous. It's better than the A7 III. The stills, it's 24 megapixels, which is more than enough for most people. I do love my super resolution, but you know, it's fast. This is the still speed, like 10 frames a second. £2,000. I think what's attracting a lot of people to it is that price point. Whereas prior to that, it would be the R3, which is over £1,000 more. So I know a lot of people who are looking at changing to this brand because of it.
So you use that for stills as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's the only camera I've actually got on me, which normally I have at least 2 cameras on me. But yeah, it's more than enough for most things. It's better than I expected it to be. When I went to the launch of it, I was like, yeah, my R3 does all this. But seeing at the price point of what it does and the video being actually slightly better was really impressive.
What else has caught your eye recently?
Well, there's always cameras which I've got the Fuji X-H1, which is Fuji's first mirrorless with a stabilized sensor, and that's really nice. Although it's a shame you have to have the extra grip to get a longer recording time and a headphone jack, which makes it a bit bulky. And video camera wise, I've been using quite an unknown brand, a Chinese brand called Kinefinity, their Terra 4K, which is a cinema camera that shoots high frame rates in 4K, and it's like £3,500, and I've been using that a lot for jobs and love it. So, but I do love my cameras. I'm sure there'll be some more cameras coming out in the next month or so that will make me excited as well.
So is your Kinefinity your go-to camera at the moment?
I don't have a go-to camera. It depends on the job. So if I'm shooting documentaries, I actually often be using the Canon C200 for interviews. That amazing autofocus is a big deal for me. But the image out of that Kinefinity is so good, and the ability to shoot 100 frames per second in 4K is very tempting.
So looking at your work, you use a lot of different cameras. Well, what is it that makes you try all of them?
New cameras that interest me and excite me, but I always go back to the main ones. I like small cameras because they are light, and I work a lot faster in documentaries, so I'm using a small camera. But if I want a better codec, then I use my bigger cameras. If I'm working for broadcast, I definitely need to use my bigger cameras. But you know, there's also fantastic lenses out there which come out, some affordable cinema lenses from Fuji, which I've been using, and I love these. These are my favourites walk around lenses, the SLR Magic Cine lenses. You know, I have amazing autofocus on this, but I'm not using it. These are true manual lenses, but lovely mechanics and a really nice vintage look to them. I've been using these a lot, and they're cheap as well. It's like £300 for the lens. So I do buy too many lenses, I think.
What is it you look for when in a new camera? Like, what are you hoping is going to come out? What are you hoping new features that are going to change?
We already have some of the features that I want in the Sony lines in other camera, the Panasonic GH5. It has 10-bit internal recording, 4K at 60 frames. So that's kind of what I'm after from the Sonys. I want that image, I want that full-frame image, and I want a 10-bit internal codec, and I want great low light performance. I want it to cost £500. I want it to take an espresso pod so I can get an espresso out of it as well. I want all of these things. Whether I get any of them, I don't know. But
I don't think you'll get the coffee one, but...
Well, I think I'm going to do a Kickstarter campaign and get a new camera made.
So you're using Sony mirrorless cameras. What about the other brands?
Oh, Fuji obviously I am using, because I have those, but not really for any professional work. I have the Panasonic GH5, but again, I don't really like the size sensor, too small. Canon are so behind it. It's not even get started on Nikon, because at least Canon have something which is usable, but they've got a long way to go. Canon are so far behind on 4K video recording in their mirrorless cameras. The M50's crop is just insanely big, and no autofocus with the dual pixel, and it's motion JPEG, so it's a really for HD it's a nice camera, and the stills are nice, but for video, Canon really need to, and I want them to step up. I love the C200 as a video camera. I love Canon color science. I love Canon cameras, but they need to really catch up. Sony seem to just be sprinting ahead, and the competition are quite far behind.
And Fuji
are great, but they're very new to video. The X-H1 is their very first camera that I would say shoots proper usable video, because it actually has a log profile inside. And all of these cameras suffer from rolling shutter. The X-H1 has it as well, but by having that 5-axis stabilized sensor, it helps enormously. Prior to that, the X-T2, great stills camera, the video,
Great. And monitor-wise, do you have a favorite specific monitor?
Yeah, I mean, I use small HD monitors.
Okay.
They're my favourites, so I use those a lot. If I'm using any external recorder, say with the FS5, then I'll use the Atomos Inferno.
Yeah.
So I do like monitors, but I also like keeping the footprint of the camera really small. If I'm on a tripod, definitely, but if I'm shooting handheld, I won't obviously touch a monitor. It'll be an EVF or the EVF built into it.
Great. And then what are you hoping then, last question, what are you hoping is going to come out soon? What are you looking forward to, hoping?
A7 III, that's basically what we were after, but unless it has 10 bits internal recording and 50 frames, 60 frames 4K, everybody's going to be disappointed, and there'll be people will go, what's the point? So that's what they need to do. They need to step up their game, because the A7S is their video mirrorless flagship, their brand. So that's what's missing from it. So fingers crossed. I don't know when it's coming out, but hopefully soon.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.